Hello, I'm Ed Sharkovich.
And I'm Monique Futch. Welcome to the Scudbuster Diaries.
We are a group of professional photographer storm chasers that go out into the field whenever severe weather threatens Flagler County.
That's really important because Flagler County doesn't have complete Doppler radar coverage.
Northeast Florida gets its radar information from two Doppler installations. One is in Jacksonville and the other is in Melbourne. Because of the distance between the Doppler towers and the curvature of the Earth, there is a gap. All of Flagler County lies within the gap. The gap is like a blind spot
that the National Weather Service can't see into. In the northern half of our county, we are virtually invisible on radar from ground to about 5,000 feet.
In the southern half of the county, that goes up to 10,000 feet, and that's plenty of altitude for severe weather to come into our county undetected. Our job as sky-worn trained weather spotters is to go out into the field with Canon cameras in hand, to be the eyes and ears of both the National Weather Service and the Flagler County Emergency Operations Center.
Nikon.
Canon.
You're holding a Nikon.
I didn't want to ruin my Canon.
But you own a Nikon.
Anyway, the gap. It affects all of Flagler County. Our goal with the Scudbuster Diaries is to be the eyes and the ears of the National Weather Service and the Flagler County Emergency Operations Center in the gap. Here are some of our top photos from recent storm chasing adventures.
This is actually one of my favorites of yours.
Is it really?
It is.
I like this one too. This is actually Hurricane Sandy when it was off of the coast of Flagler Beach. Hurricane Sandy was a very devastating hurricane that affected the entire Northeast. And as it was off the shore of Flagler Beach, this was a three-piece sequence out of 1,100 photographs where we had a very large wave that actually came, washed over the end of the entire pier and broke a lot of the supporting structure underneath, and I think it closed the pier down for how long?
About a month.
About a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite damaging. Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
Probably the best example of a shelf cloud that I have taken to date. This photograph I took at North 17th Street in Flagler Beach, and what it reminds me of is the mothership in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Definitely alien form.
Very alien, scary looking.
Yes, it is. But people don't seem to realize that the front of that storm is the least scariest part. Actually, what's coming behind it is a little more frightening.
So what you're actually looking at here, as far as schematics go, is a gust front. As a thunderstorm builds and as the clouds elevate, it cools down once it reaches the upper parts of the atmosphere, and as the rain comes crashing to the ground, it builds a wind front in front of it. And as this cold air mass comes along the ground, it actually scoops up or elevates the warm humid air that's been in the atmosphere during the day. So the interface between the cold air moving forward and the warm air, you get this shelf cloud. Scary looking, but the most damaging parts of the storm, like you said, are actually way behind it. Hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes. This particular shot, again, was taken right around the Leaky Tower. You can see it there on the one side. The thing that I like about this shot is that you've got two cells coming in and intersecting right in front of me. If you look at the radar image on the beach, from the beach, you can see that I am the blue circle. The square boxes are each of the storm cells, and we're looking to the south at the Leaky Tower.
And they came together, didn't they?
They did come together.
Yes.
South at the Leaky Tower, another shelf cloud to the north, and they intersected just in front of me right out over the ocean. Pretty neat. Again, as far as schematics go, as the rain comes down and it crashes upon the surface of the Earth, it creates a gust front wind event of cold air that comes and pushes the warm air up. The warm air rises against the cold air. You get this shear effect and a lot of rippling in clouds as those two air masses meet together.
And the warm air pushes up, and that's how it makes the shelf.
Correct. Pretty smart.
I am.
She is. St. Mary's Catholic Church in Corona. These are mammatus clouds. You can see from the top of the steeple where the cross is, across to the tops of the trees, there's like little pocketings or little billowings of clouds.
Like little pillows.
They do look like little pillows. This was the back end of an anvil after the storm had actually passed over me. I had gone out over to sea, and the top of the thunderstorm, of a mature thunderstorm, you get an anvil that builds across the upper air masses, and the cold air in the cloud starts to descend into the warm air of the atmosphere below, like we're seeing in this diagram, and as that cold air settles, it settles into pockets, forming mammatus clouds.
Lightning.
Lightning. one of her favorite things.
Absolutely
Hey,
love to shoot lightning.
These really light up my life.
I bet they do.
I bet they do.
From a distance, we hope.
Yes. National Weather Service's motto for lightning is, when thunder roars, go indoors. If you can hear thunder, you are in reach of being struck by lightning, and lightning is nothing to mess around with. It's deadly.
Absolutely not.
It's lethal. I took this picture out my car window at the corner of Old Kings Road South and State Route 100 and watched the SunTrust Bank building get hit. When we take a look at lightning, it's formed from the discharge of static electricity that builds up inside of clouds.
Negative charges that fall to the earth.
Sometimes positive charges that go up, and the two connect with an invisible channel, and then flash, boom. There it is. When thunder roars, go indoors.
Isn't it the boom before the flash?
It's a flash and then the boom. Unless there's a boom from the last flash.
Huh.
Think about that.
Never thought about that.
All right.
This is one of my favorites.
I hate when you tell this story.
I'm sorry. This is my favorite story. Look at those amazing scuds. This is how you got your name.
These are Scud clouds. Scud clouds are actually false tornadoes.
Correct.
They drop down.
But never touch.
They look like tornadoes. They never touch. They never rotate. But people are often fearful of them because of the dramatic nature of the way that these things look. They had intrigued me very early on in my storm chasing career. And then, when we went to the Skywarn class at the Emergency Operations Center, somebody leaned over to me and said,
What's wrong with you?
well, you say that to me every day.
Well, this is true.
All
But
right.
you were like, oh, crap. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? I've been chasing scuds the whole time.
I've been chasing the wrong part of the storm
Well, now
the whole
you're
time.
busted. So you became a scud buster.
She nicknamed me Scud. She said I was busted. And when we realized that there was a gap and there was a need for people to be on the ground and chase these storms, the Scud Buster Diaries came into being
Absolutely.
because of what you're seeing right here on the screen.
And why do we do this? For your safety.
Yes.
This is one of my shots.
This is one of her shots. I don't have a shot like this. She
This
should be
is
proud of this
actually
shot.
a water spout, which is basically a tornado over water. And you can see from the bottom how it actually comes up and sprays. The water will be spraying, just like the ground would with particles and everything scattering all around. This was taken in 2011 off of Flagler Pier.
Awesome shot.
Thank you.
This is a shot that I would really wish that I had. When we take a look at how these things form, as a thunderstorm builds and as it moves forward, it creates turbulence in the air. There can be rotation that starts to happen either in the entire storm or in eddying air currents that are behind a moving storm. And if things start to rotate enough, it'll create a rotation that can drop down into a funnel cloud. If it touches, it's either a tornado or it's a water spout. Here's another shot that I don't have.
You have many shots like this.
I've got many lightning shots, but I don't have one just like this. Tell them why.
This is an amazing lightning shot. Basically, this lightning shot is going to tell you how unpredictable lightning is and how it's sporadic and can go anywhere. It'll turn and come right back around, go straight. You have no idea where this is going. So, as we said before, if you can hear the roar, go indoors.
I've seen photographs of lightning that looks like it's coming down in a straight line, then all of a sudden it shoots way over, sometimes a mile or two to the
Yes.
side. And if it connects, you're not going to be safe. So seek shelter.
This was a great picture.
This is also a great picture. She's really got good pictures.
This is my, how do you say it? Mammonis?
Mammotus.
Mammonis. I said it correct.
Mammotus.
Okay. Mammotus clouds. Actually, we were on the north side of town over by the Target in the parking lot over there, and this storm just came overhead, and it was just amazing. I like yours in the black and white. It shows much more dramatic. I think that's excellent.
That's true, but it doesn't have the definition like this, so this is actually a good shot.
Well, thank you.
But again, what we're looking at here is a cold air layer from the anvil starting to settle into the warm air layer of the atmosphere immediately over the ground. And as you get these pocketings, it looks pretty dramatic.
Looks like little pillows.
Looks like little pillows, although that's not what the word mammotus means.
Oh, my favorite shot.
Yeah, this is a good shot.
This is a great
This
shot.
is a really good shot.
There's Ed. There's the pole. There's his telephone. What's he doing? He's Googling pole dancing.
That's a nice story. But what was actually happening was that I was trying to figure out why my radar screen had gone black. And you can see that on the side there. 20 minutes. Guys don't like to ask for directions. There it was. 20 minutes trying to figure it out on my own. Started my phone 4 times.
Lost at sea.
4 times. Finally, I wrote tech support and I said, my screen is black, I can't get out of it. And they said I was
lost at sea.
I was lost at sea. Hit your homing button. I hit my homing button, and the radar screen shot back to Flagler County from off the coast of Portugal. And basically what had happened was I put it in my pocket without shutting the screen down, and it sent me halfway across the world. But the reason why I like this shot is because it reminds me, you're a constant reminder to me that I always have things to learn. And you keep me humble. It keeps me humble.
I'm glad I can do that for you.
Thank you so much.
We have an entire toolkit of equipment that we take out on the field with us on a daily basis.
Cameras and tripods, GoPros and solar cell phone chargers.
Especially Nikons.
And wind speed reading instruments called anemometers.
One of the biggest pieces of equipment we bring with us are the vehicles that we storm chase in. Here's mine. Feel free to honk and wave when you see me.
And here's mine. Recently, I was up in New York for my birthday, and my sister gave me quite the surprise. Here's a short story of me going back to New York to drive it home. We are in my hometown of Bayport, New York, Long Island, on a special mission to pick up the storm-chasing vehicle for the Scud Diaries. My sister bought this back in 2000, brand new. She used it to travel extensively up and down the East Coast, traveling out to the west on the dog show circuit. And now she is turning it over to me, used for storm chasing. We're going to bring it back to Florida tomorrow morning. Going up to my childhood home right now. There it is.
Watch out, vehicle snapped on shoulder ahead.
The trip is progressing well, as exciting as this is. Well, I was hoping for some storms on the way down since the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center had said that we were under a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms, but so far we haven't had too much. The storm that did happen was when I crossed into North Carolina, and the driver's rear tire blew out. Managed to get it into the median, and in my attempts to get the spare tire lowered from the undercarriage of the van, I whacked my head on the trailer hitch. So there you go. It had the 13-hour mark crossing into South Carolina, south of the border. There it is. Well, I guess you could say that the storm chasing van is being christened. Is scabbing up. After 19 and a half hours, I finally made it back to Florida, and I want to thank my sister, Kristen, for this amazing, generous gift. Here's a picture of her and my mom watching Storm Log 1.
It was good too, wasn't it, Storm Log 1?
Yes, it was. Here's a picture of us watching Storm Log 1 too.
Not every day is a good weather day. There are actually some days that the sun does come out.
That's true. When the weather is good and there are no storms to chase, the biggest way that we support the county is by being affiliated with Flagler County Assist React. Whether it's helping to establish Fireflight helicopter landing zones or volunteering our time at municipal events like this past 4th of July's parade and fireworks in Flagler Beach. The Scudbuster Diaries has your back. Here is the Flagler County Emergency Operations Center's Bob Pickering with a few words about Flagler County Assist React.
Hi there, my name is Bob Pickering. I'm an emergency management technician with Flagler County Emergency Services. I'm going to speak to you about one of the volunteer organizations that helps us out from time to time. That's Flagler County Assist React. Now, Flagler County Assist React got its start in Flagler County back in 1985. So they've been operating in Flagler County now for over 30 years, 31 years as of last May. The organization got started as a group of high school students wanting to use CB radios to help people, but it has evolved now to perform many different functions here in Flagler County. Most of the public service events that they work include 5K races, and sometimes walkathons, and you'll see them out there helping with traffic control at some of the larger special events. They do many different things, from traffic control to communications, and they also participate in our Skywarn program, assisting in storm spotting with the Scud Diaries and other organizations. Now, they also help us here at Flagler County Emergency Services. They provide some extra staff in the Emergency Operations Center during disasters. They have a specialized team that assists with the helicopter fireflight. They can help set up a landing zone so the helicopter can land safely at areas that are away from designated helipads. They also can provide extra staffing for telephones and communications and logistics support here in the Emergency Operations Center during emergencies or any incidents that we need extra help. So learn more about Flagler County Assist React, you can go to their website at react4800.org, or you can find them on their Facebook page just by searching for Flagler County Assist React.
Thanks, Bob.
Our goal at the Scudbuster Diaries is the following: to make you aware of the gap in radar coverage, to give you tools to keep you and those you care about safe, to get you to sign up for the Skywarn Weather Spotter classes given by the National Weather Service at the Emergency Operations Center in Bunnell. For more information, go to flagleremergency.com or contact Bob Pickering at the Emergency Operations Center at the email address that you see below.
Sooner or later, bad weather's going to happen. We want you to be prepared. Pick up an emergency preparation guide at the Emergency Operations Center. It has a lot of great stuff in it.
And visit the Scudbuster Diaries on Facebook. Thanks for watching.